Hello, good evening. As I am filming this, it is 10 to 10 p.m. on a Sunday night. And I'm filming this because starting basically right now, I am going to be taking the next week, the next 7 days off social media. Why is this a big deal? People do social media cleanses all of the time. Well, the last one I did was 4 years ago in 2020, and it was lockdown, and my relationship with social media was very different then than it is now. I rewatched the video that I had made after my week break reflecting on the whole thing, and wow, like I remember being in that place and my mentality around social media at the time, and I really feel like taking that week off must have been such a turning point for me, and also just that time of lockdown and everything being a big turning point with my relationship with social media generally. 4 years ago, I was filled with a lot of stress and worry and fear and anxiety about needing to be constantly visible and posting and online, and then also having a lot of confused feelings about this reluctance of feeling like I was performing my life online rather than living it. And I was really struggling with my relationship with social media back then. But now, looking back on that video, I'm like, oh wow, like I think I managed it. By no means is my relationship with social media perfect, but I feel so much calmer. Like I no longer feel like I have to post on Instagram every day. That was such a habit that I'd got myself into, and a like pressure thing that I had put on myself for years. And I can safely say 4 years on now, I'm like, nope, I no longer feel like I have to be posting daily on Instagram, and that feels good. Like the fact that that pressure is not there, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how awful that felt, and I don't have that awful feeling anymore. This is so much better. I just feel like I've got a much more relaxed approach to social media these days. And then another thing is that there is this huge part of my life that I don't really post about online, which is my kid. So I really do feel like I am living my life. There is a huge part of my life that I am living and not performing. Of course, there's the odd post and video about motherhood and about parenting, but by no means is the crossover as huge as it maybe is in other areas of my life, or as it was 4 years ago. I'm also way less active on stories. I used to feel this deep-seated panic anytime I hadn't been active on my Instagram stories in a 24-hour period. That would always send me into a big panic. Nowadays, when I notice that I haven't been active on my stories in 24 hours, I have a moment of feeling like bad about it, but then I think about everything that I was doing with my time that I wasn't spending being active on social media. I was like, actually, yeah, that was time well spent, and I'm happy with how I spent my time instead. And then the times that I am able to be more active on stories, I really enjoy that, and it feels really playful and fun. And that's just been more generally my recent theme on social media, is having more fun, engaging with the community, and using it as a creative outlet. And the other big thing that has changed since I had my baby, I've been gradually losing followers. And this is absolutely fine. As someone who has been on the internet for over a decade, it is very normal for people to like join and then fall off and everything over the years. And clearly, since becoming a mum and not posting every day and not being as active on social media, that has led to a lot more people falling off, which definitely changes how you feel about social media. When you are confronted with those numbers going down, you really have to, not just in words, but in actions, detach your self-worth from all of those numbers. Like, it's all well and good saying it when, you know, the numbers are going up and you're feeling really good about yourself, but what about when they're going down? Because you still gotta feel good about yourself. But then, more recently, I had a massive viral video, like hugely viral. It is currently on 55 million views, and all of those followers that I've lost in the last 2 years, I've gained back and then some in the space of a few weeks. So I don't really know who those thousands of followers are. We'll see if they stick around. But I think I'm a lot more detached from that number. Like, I can clearly see almost how arbitrary it is, the fact that I would lose all of these followers over the last 2 years, but feel more engaged with my community than ever on social media, and then in the space of a week gain them all back, but then be people that like have no idea who I am and just followed on a whim because of one viral dick soap video, and never then engage in anything I do going forwards. So what is a follower? You know, not all followers are made equal. So you might be thinking, Hannah, if you're having a great time on social media and you feel like your relationship to it is healthy, why the hell do you need to take a week off? Great question. Here's why I'm doing this. So the reason why I did it 4 years ago was because I really felt like my relationship with social media needed a reset. I was really struggling and I just needed to go cold turkey for a while to then be able to build back and figure things out. I was welcoming the break. I was like, I need this. This is a necessity. I was almost looking forward to it. This is the opposite. I'm dreading this. I feel like I'm going to be deprived of something that I really like. So here lies the challenge. I'm really curious to see how I feel at the end of this week compared to the time 4 years ago. I feel like it's going to be harder because I want to be on social media more. We shall see. But I do still spend a lot of time mindlessly scrolling. So as much as there's a lot more that I love about social media and how I'm using it these days, there's still a lot of scrolling. Just a lot. I even completely procrastinated from filming this because I was just in a mindless scroll on Instagram on the sofa. And I still do a lot of scrolling on social media before bed because my phone is my alarm. My toddler still wakes up, so I want access to my phone and yada, yada, yada. And so I am going to bed a lot later than I would like because TikTok and Instagram just like pull me in. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, why? So as a consumer, I would really like to cut down, even if as a creator, I want to be on it more. And then the other reason is that I have got a book for a local book club that I need to finish. I'm currently this far through, but I have all of this to read and I have got basically next week to do it. So this is a good time, and I haven't been to this book club before and I want to make a good impression by obviously finishing the book. So here is the plan. I'm going to delete off of my phone, not just rely on willpower. No, because that shit doesn't work. I'm going to delete from my phone Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the watching version. I'm going to keep YouTube Studio, the Creator Studio app, because that's like behind the scenes work. But I'm going to delete the main YouTube app because I could watch like shorts on there, which there's a lot of TikToks and reels on there, so we don't want to be messing with it. And then I'm also going to delete LinkedIn because I know from past experiences that when I deprive myself of other social media, I then just scroll on LinkedIn. So we're going to delete that too. Who knows what I may like go to instead of those four. But I'm not on Twitter anymore. I'm not on Tumblr. I'm not on Reddit. So we're not including any of those. Obviously, there is my Patreon Discord server, and it's going to be hard not to check that because I can't delete Discord because that's where me and my assistant communicate in terms of work stuff. But my assistant Moog is going to still post on my Instagram stories for when my newsletter and video go out, but I'm not logging in to do that. Someone else is doing it, but they're just still going out just to let the people know that the other stuff is happening. And then I'll be allowing myself to check the comments on the newsletter and the comments on the YouTube video. But that's it. And yeah, so I need to delete them now. But the thing is that I really don't want to because I literally, maybe an hour ago, posted a reel, TikTok short, all three, and it's doing really well. And so here's the thing. If I weren't to delete it right now, I would then spend my entire evening just refreshing and reading comments and just watching the views go up and just like watching the numbers and the analytics on the 3 different apps as well. Like that's genuinely what I would do. And then I'd be like, oh fuck, I didn't spend any time reading this evening. But yeah, no, this video is doing very well, but I'm gonna have to just leave it and come back to it in a week and see what happened. But I'm just gonna do one last check. Just do like one last look. Right, I've looked at it on Instagram, so we can delete Instagram. Bye. Remove app, delete app, delete. Here's a thing to note about deleting social media apps is that if you have any drafts, they're gone because they are stored locally on your phone. And so if you delete the app from your phone, goodbye. So that's why I ended up posting this one this evening because I was like, ah, crap, post the draft. Post the draft. Right, TikTok, you're next. Remove app, delete. delete. I actually, in my social media folder on my phone is Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So there we go. Delete, delete. The social media folder is gone. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, right. I guess I'm just going to get ready for bed and read my book. Do you know what my first instinct to do is to go on YouTube Studio app and check the video, which I think means I might need to delete the YouTube Studio app as well, and then only let myself check YouTube videos on a laptop. Do you know what? Yeah, because if that's my first instinct, it's doing well on YouTube Shorts as well. Oh my God. Okay. Right, yeah, we're gonna have to delete it because I will just keep checking that, and that's very much a social media habit, not a YouTube Creator Studio habit. Right, let's go. Delete. Okay, I will report back in a week. Wish me luck. It has been a week without social media, and before I get into how it's been, my thoughts, I want to thank this video sponsor, Squarespace. So whether you're just starting out in the freelance world or you're a small business owner, Squarespace makes it super easy to create beautiful websites, engage your audience, and sell anything from physical and digital products to courses to even your time, all in one place and all on your terms. They have tons of beautiful and flexible website templates. You just pick the one that is right for you, and then you can customize it with all of your own branding and content. And with Squarespace's Fluid Engine website design system, it makes it so easy and intuitive. You just drag and drop everything on the website to make it how you want it to be. It really allows anyone to get creative designing their own website, even if you have zero website design experience like myself. And with Squarespace Blueprint, you get an interactive website design experience, a fully guided process in creating your own website. It takes you through all the steps, shows you everything that you need to do, and just holds your hand through the whole process, which is definitely something that I need. And Squarespace Blueprint also has optimized SEO tools to help you stand out more in people's searches and get discovered. I've been using Squarespace for years for all of my different work-related projects and websites. So if you are in need of your own website and portfolio for whatever it is that you are working on, then head to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And then when you are ready to launch it into the world, you can go to squarespace.com/morehannah to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now let's talk social media. Okay, I was taking notes all week. Anytime something happened or I had a thought, I was like journaling and like writing down my thoughts about it. And then I've put all of those thoughts together and organized them. I'm gonna talk through work, the social side of social media, news and current affairs, that's the whole thing. What did I do instead? And then we're gonna look at my screen time comparisons, and then I'm going to re-download the apps because I haven't yet. I haven't, and I haven't felt the urge to, if I'm honest, but we will get to that. Okay, so in terms of work, it is no secret that as a content creator and influencer, social media is a big part of my job, whether I like it or not. And there were a couple of times when I was working where I ended up going on social media on my laptop because I needed things. I completely autopilot went on Instagram when I needed to grab some links for some photos for a work thing, and it wasn't until I'd like completely opened it up and was on my profile that I was like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be on social media this week. But then I also needed to open TikTok on my laptop because I needed to grab a video link for my video editor as well to be like, this one, put this one in the video. But the first time I did that was complete autopilot. I'd just like forgotten I was taking a social media break. And there were only those 2 occasions where I actually needed to get something and send it over. I was in and then I was out. I got the thing I needed and I was gone. Because also the desktop experience isn't like the experience, you know? So it wasn't that hard just to then switch it off. If I'd had to do that on my phone, however, I could totally imagine getting like sucked into it all. There was a short form piece of content that I was planning on making last week, but I totally forgot to like prep it because I needed a sound from TikTok in order to do it. And so I didn't do that one. Oh well, I'll just have to make it this week now that I have access to TikTok again. And then the other thing that happened, so I have not used Twitter X for years. I think I like posted like, oh, I had my baby. But even before that, I was very infrequently using it. And then I was like, oh, I better post that I had my baby. And then after that, just nothing. So that was almost 2.5 years ago now. And during this last week, whilst on my social media break, I got an email being like, someone in Russia has logged into your account, and things are sketchy with X and things are sketchy with Russia. And so I didn't 100% trust the email, but instead I just logged into my X account, which I still had access to. If anyone had logged into it, they hadn't changed the password, and then I just deactivated my account. I was just like, I have not used this platform in 2.5 years. I am fundamentally opposed to its current CEO. Like, I find Elon Musk absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. No, thank you. And so I just deactivated my account. It's gone. And do you know what? When I did my week off social media 4 years ago, I would have never, but I was still kind of half-ass using Twitter at that time. But now I've just deleted it. I think this is like one of the first times I've ever just like deleted an account. I was like, oh, I could just like not use it. But then like the stress of being like, oh, what if someone does get access to it? And then what other information about me can they find? I was just like, just for security and peace of mind, it's gone. The only thing that slightly bums me out about not having a Twitter account anymore is not having my @HannahWitton handle. But whatever, someone else will have it and pretend to be me, and then someone will be like, someone's pretending to be you on Twitter, and then we'll all flag the account. That's the only like nagging thought, is that I now no longer like own my name on Twitter, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Okay, the other thing that I really noticed was that in terms of work, I was not anxious about being absent from social media for a week. And when I say social media, I really mean Instagram, because that's like where my main community and like content and business and like my main profile is. Like, I have been using TikTok a lot more, obviously, but Instagram is still like my main social media platform. And I just didn't feel anxious. I didn't feel worried about being gone. And that is a huge improvement for me from 2020 in terms of the worry and like the dread that I would feel in my body of like not being active on social media. I'm honestly just like, yeah, a week, easy, fine. However, being off for any longer, if someone said to me, oh, a week's nothing to you then, why don't you do a whole month off social media? That's when I'm like, oh, I don't know. Oh, that does make me anxious. So I don't know if I would do it. And I don't know whether saying, oh, but I need it for work is like me using that as an excuse. But me currently now, whether I'm in denial or not, is saying, yes, I do need it for work. Because yes, absolutely, I need access to those platforms for creating social media content. Even if I'm not currently posting it, I often need it to make the stuff. And then there is an argument to be made that being clued into trends and discussions and just what's going on in internet culture is useful, but equally there could be an argument made that I don't have to be on social media in order to be aware of that kind of stuff. Like, you can find that information elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure where. So in terms of work, honestly, I kind of feel like I might just take a week off social media every now and then. And we will see if, for instance, taking a week off actually like hinders my account performance or hinders my numbers in any way. But I feel like I've already established that like since I had my baby and came back from mat leave, I kind of care less about that stuff now. And so I just feel a lot more free to like make decisions in terms of how I use social media without feeling really anxious all the time about it hurting my bottom line and like hurting my business. So this is a good position to be in. But let's talk about social. The social side of social media, because I'm not just an influencer, you know, I'm actually a person. But yes, I use social media for work, but I also use it socially to interact with IRL friends of mine who I, follow and interact with on social media, but then also getting the kind of like fix of being somebody who's got a lot of people watching them, and the social side of social media that's like a bit more anonymous, and the community side, I guess. The community part of it. We've got like my IRL friends and then the kind of like community. These two parts of it are the social experience for me. When it comes to my real life friends, I feel like I didn't miss it, but I also happened to have a very big friends and family week. Like I actually saw my friends quite a lot last week, and it was just happenstance that it happened to be the weekend that I was off social media. And so that was nice, although I did have to be like, if anyone took photos and was gonna like post them on Instagram stories, I'd be like, can you send me that picture, because I'm not on Instagram right now, like I want to see the picture you just took. And then we spent the weekend up in Manchester with my parents and my sister, and I saw some of my friends up there as well. So I feel like my social my social bucket, or whatever metaphor we're using, it feels very full. And I was also able to just be present with everyone because I wasn't like checking social media on my phone. But the friends that I did not see in person, what the fuck are they up to? What are they doing? I honestly have no idea. And this is where social media is kind of a blessing and a curse, because on the one hand, it can be a really great way just to keep up to date with like what your friends are up to, so then when you see them, you don't have to do like the big old catch-ups, because you've kind of gotten a sense and you've like seen the things that they've been doing. But then if you're not on social media, you kind of feel out of the loop, and there's more of a need to be like actually texting and calling your friends and talking to them to find out what they've been up to and what's going on and how they are, rather than just relying on the crux of social media that you'll like find out from there. And so that was kind of eye-opening to me, of being like, oh, okay, I feel like I do heavily rely on social media to know what's going on with my friends. And yes, it's a blessing because that makes it really easy on my part, but actually, does it make those relationships special? Because they're posting that stuff for everybody to see. It's not like a personal bond and a friendship that we have. It's even if I might see it and respond to it. I don't know, I'm kind of feeling funny in that area, and it's made me think, ooh, I should, I don't know, rely on it less and actually check in more with my friends. Shock horror. The other thing that is just very clear to me is that I'm just notoriously bad at taking photos of life, unless it's of Rowan. Photos of my toddler, easy, constant, camera out all of the time. Photos, videos, all of them. Anything else, me and my friends having a good time, I will completely forget to document it unless I have my like work brain switched on, which is like, oh, this would be good on Instagram. So it did make me realize that I want to get better at taking photos just for the memes rather than like through the Instagram gaze. We've got the male gaze, we've got the female gaze, and then we've got the Instagram gaze. And then in terms of community, I definitely felt myself getting my fix from my Patreon Discord. And maybe that was cheating, because that very much is social media, but I needed Discord open because it's where I communicate with my assistant and my video editor, and I couldn't just like remove myself from my Patreon Discord server. Honestly, I don't know what would happen if I did that. Like, would the entire thing break? I don't know. But I did find myself like reading what people were talking about in there, and also just like posting myself in there of things that I wanted to share and joining in whatever conversations were happening. I don't feel like I was doing it more than I normally would have, but I definitely felt like talking in the Patreon Discord server kind of like scratched that itch for me of feeling a bit like untethered and being like, where's my community? Where are my people? Or like reading a book or seeing a film or anything and just being like, I want to share this and I want to connect with other people about this thing. But it is still different in the Discord server because it doesn't feel like the way that social media is, which is like, look at me, look at me. And instead it's like everyone sharing and talking, and you're just like a part of the whole community rather than like the person doing a post and then everyone being like, love your top, which I appreciate those comments, so it's fine. Okay, right, on to news and current affairs. So this was a theme that came up in that video 4 years ago, and I have not learned. And I do feel like this is important to share because there is so much self-improvement and personal development content out there. And 4 years ago in a video, I said, oh, in my week off social media, I was very disconnected from the news and what was going on in the world, because it turns out I get a lot of my news from social media. And I said that that was something that I wanted to change and I wanted to improve. You know, I wanted to better myself and find other ways of getting the news so I wasn't so reliant on social media. Well, guess what? 4 years later, same problem. Did I improve myself? No, I did not. I just went straight back into just getting my news from social media and being like, that's fine. But I feel like most of us, I've got a complicated relationship with the news. I want to be tuned in to what's going on in the world, what's going on in my country, what's going on with issues and things that I care about. But I also feel like we believe that like knowing everything that's going on in the news equals being being a good person. And I also really try and reject that, even though I do feel like shame and embarrassment when people are like talking about something around me, which happened a few times this week. They're talking about something that's going on in the news and I'm like, yeah, BBC News app, like what the fuck, what have I missed, what have I got? And it does feel embarrassing because I'm an adult and I feel like I should know what's going on. And then when I was at my parents' house, we were just watching TV in the evening and the BBC News at 10 came on and I watched it and I was like, this is fucking miserable. I was like, I don't want to watch this. Now I'm going to bed feeling like shit. So I honestly do not know where I stand on this. Can I just be happy just continuing as I was and like getting my news from social media? Because I have curated my social media in a way that people are talking about things that I care about. And so I kind of go niche and like know about the news in some specific areas and then some bigger ones, but I don't know everything, and which is maybe a nice middle ground. I don't know. But then if I'm not on social media, then I'm just completely clueless. Apparently, Dan gave me some podcast recommendations because he like daily listens to news podcasts, but I'm an audiobook gal. That would eat into my audiobook time. And my habits in terms of listening to things is I'll listen to an audiobook and then I will binge, like catch up on all of my podcasts, and then I'll listen to another audiobook. And news podcasts, you can't binge news podcasts. You kind of have to listen to them regularly. I could stick BBC Radio 4 on in the morning like my parents always do and as they did in my childhood. Is that something we do? Would I even be able to pay attention to it whilst getting myself and Rowan ready in the morning? I don't know. I could find like a weekly summary newsletter, but I've also not been reading newsletters at the moment. That's something that has fallen by the wayside, which we'll get onto. Do I do a quick check of news apps? I don't know. I don't know where I stand on this. I'm not gonna like say in this video like I'm going to do X, Y, and Z and I'm gonna get better because I don't know at this point. I'm not sure. But moving on from that, what did I do instead? Great question. We'll get on to how much time I saved, theoretically, in a bit, but my YouTube Watch Later playlist is still sitting at over 100 videos, so I didn't do that. I didn't replace my social media time with watching YouTube videos. My unread newsletters are still piling up in my inbox. My newsletter reading time used to be when I was breastfeeding, and especially like breastfeeding Rowan to sleep. Since I stopped breastfeeding, I'm just way behind. And at what point do I just like get rid of them all and like start again? Because there are a couple of newsletters that I love reading and I always get so much out of them and I feel very enriched, but I just haven't like found a new time. I haven't been able to figure out like when I incorporate it into my habits and my schedule and everything since stopping breastfeeding. So that's something I need to figure out, and also figure out my priorities on it. Because I'm like, Hannah, you can't do everything. You can't consume everything. Like that's just not realistic. One thing I did do though, I read Bunny. This was probably the main thing that I did in the time that I would have spent doom scrolling. I read a whole book and I really loved it. And tomorrow evening, my time is the book club for this. So I'm very pleased. It was a nice reminder that, Hannah, if you don't go on social media, you actually do have the time to read physical books. Good to know. Good to know. And the other thing in terms of books that I noticed was that I was able to concentrate on audiobooks more, because I think it's such a reflex for me to like pick up my phone and check social media that I would be listening to an audiobook and scrolling on social media at the same time. And then it's no wonder that I'm literally losing the plot. And I just found myself getting a lot more engrossed and a lot more like present with my audio book. I say book because I'm currently listening to a 45-hourer. And so that's something that I really want to keep, because I feel like it's such an instinctual habit of mine to be listening to my audiobook and then checking my phone. No, you can do the washing, you can unload the dishwasher, you can like tidy up, you can be walking. You can do all of those things and listen to an audiobook, Hannah. But you can't be like trying to read other things while someone's telling you a story in your ears. No, that doesn't work. And then the other thing that I obviously found myself doing a lot, which I don't know if I found myself doing more, we'll see in terms of screen time, is going on Zoopla and Rightmove and looking at houses and looking at floor plans, because I love doing that. I just love it. So that was kind of like I just want to mindlessly go on my phone and scroll through properties. That was what I did. But let's have a look at screen time. Okay, so the week before my social media quit, I was on my phone for 3 hours and 31 minutes a day on average. Oof, that's rough, but fair. And across the whole week, I was on social media 4 hours and 26 minutes. And then this last week where I took my social media break, my average time on my phone was 2 hours and 39 minutes, down 25% from last week. But it's still saying that I was on social for 4 hours and 16 minutes. So that must be WhatsApp and Discord. Show categories. So apparently most of my time spent on social media, because it was still really high, is WhatsApp and Discord. And it's not showing me how much time I spent on Instagram and TikTok because I don't have those apps downloaded. So I think that means it is time to re-download these apps. But I will say, as we're doing this, as I'm re-downloading these apps, I kind of feel like I might, don't hold me to this, try and just delete the apps every weekend. Because if they're there, and I can't control myself. If they're deleted, not just not downloaded, because if it's in the app library, that I can easily access that. But this week was really good in the sense that I was like, I would like to not be on my phone and like checking Instagram some days. And for the most part, like I'm with Rowan all day Friday, and then like Saturday, Sunday, like that's basically my weekend. But then Sunday evening is a good time to post, work hat on. But maybe I just delete social media from like Friday afternoon onwards and then re-download it Sunday evening after Rowan's gone to bed. But then do I want to be like catching up on social media Sunday night rather than like reading a book? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's something here. I feel like, I don't know, I'll re-download them and then see if I just go straight back into doom scrolling, or if I can figure out like, how do I use it so that I'm literally just like using it for content creation. The only issue with deleting it though is, again, if I have any drafts, because the drafts will just go. But yeah, right, Instagram is downloading, but my internet is really slow in the bedroom. I'm like, what did I miss? Instagram, come back to me, Instagram. Okay, they've downloaded. Question is, do I need to log in now? No, do not send me notifications. That is not what I want. Do not track whatever it is that you want to track. Log in. Oh, it's logged straight back into me. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, I've got 5 DMs. 5. So happy. It's just, why are you not loading Instagram? There we go. Right. Anything important? No. Okay, right. What did I miss? I honestly don't know how to even like figure out like what I've missed. Ooh, the analytics has changed colors. If you go to the professional dashboard, it's all purple and orange and pink instead of whatever colors it was before. I can't remember, but the colors are different. Why does it look different? Ooh. See, now I'm just like, what am I even doing? What am I doing? Like, what do I even want to check? Nothing. Right. Oh, I posted that reel. Like right before I signed off and deleted everything. And yes, as predicted, it has done well. It has got over 200,000 views. And it's got a lot of comments. Right, anyway, maybe I'll... See, now I'm just getting sucked straight back in. Right. TikTok. Okay, so this is also good to know. Right, it's like teaching me how to use TikTok again. Go away. Right, the video did not do as well on TikTok, but that's to be expected. Right, and then I've got LinkedIn and YouTube back. Okay, this is good information to have that I don't have to like re-log back in. I mean, this logging back in process is kind of annoying. Oh, I have been tagged in something on LinkedIn. How exciting. Oh, how thrilling. And I have a message. Oh, it's actually quite an interesting message. A message from the BFI from LinkedIn. I mean, that's exciting. Can't believe I missed that. Anything else? Right, YouTube. Right, we're back in. We're done. Now what do I do? I actually am now regretting that I've re-downloaded them now because I've got a whole other video that I need to film. And I need to not get distracted. But it works. My conclusion is deleting social media works. So what have we learned? I honestly don't know if I have any profound conclusions to draw here. But I do feel like this experiment with how well it went and how fine I felt about it, and also how like reluctant I am now and kind of frustrated I am now that I know that they're back on my phone, but I know that I don't want to look at them because I've got other shit that I want to be doing. Like, this is valuable information for me to have. And if anything, it just kind of proves to me how much my relationship with social media has changed, because I've been saying how much it's changed over the last like year or two. But this to me feels like, oh yeah, it definitely feels different. It's not just me like saying that and hoping that's the case. But I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments all about social media and how you use it or don't use it, and like, do you regularly take breaks, and like, how do you do that, and how do you manage your screen time on it if that's something that you are trying to do. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.